Recently, Paddy Pimblett interviewed George St. Pierre on his YouTube channel. The two discussed Paddy's recent controversial win over Jared Gordon. GSP makes the comparison to his fight against Johnny Hendricks. Paddy said, "Obviously my last performance wasn't the greatest. You know what I mean? This is the first podcast I've done since. My last performance wasn't the best. I didn't look half as good as I think I am in that fight, and a lot of people think I lost. I'm seeing things online constantly. Oh, he lost, it was a robbery, this and that, and I've just had to stay away from social media because I can't get involved in it. A lot of people think I lost, and to be honest, I don't really know how to handle it, and I wanted to ask you because you have more experience than I will ever have." GSP replied, "All of the great fighters have fights that people say they lost. When I fought Hendricks, some people thought he beat me. Everybody, John Jones, even Khabib against Gleison Tibau. Every single guy. Everybody has fights they're not proud of. Everybody. Some days you just wake up and things don't go your way. People forget that fighting is the same thing. It's not always the best fighter that wins the fight. It's the fighter that fights the best that wins the fight that night. Maybe that night it was just not your night. What I did in my case, when I had a performance that I wasn't so proud of, I take note of the things that I did before that fight and I try to make an assessment of what I should do differently. And I try not to repeat the same mistake. It's hard to do. Sometimes you just wake up, and some days in training I'm just 1 second too slow and you don't really know why." Paddy replied, "I feel like he had the best performance that he had, and I didn't perform to my full potential. You're right, in the future we could run that one back. I've seen he's already got a fight booked. He got a fight booked against Bobby Green, but I don't think I'll be able to fight until the back end of the year after this surgery, so we'll see how it all unfolds." After Anthony Smith came out and said he was a big fan of Dana White's power slap, he got a ton of backlash on social media. On the Believe You Me podcast with Michael Bisping, Smith reacts to the backlash. Smith says people hate that he likes power slap.
The same thing happened that happens every time, and I love every second of it. They slapped the out of each other and people went to sleep. I got completely roasted on my SiriusXM show.
Oh, I saw it.
Said, are you willing to admit? I love it. Remember when you and I had this debate for a long time, how I loved or I hated I wasn't super about the celebrity boxing and the YouTubers boxing with chicken farmers and all just the weird and you had this really good point that like you just accepted it for what it was. Like you weren't watching it like you were watching boxing. People are so mad. They're like, these guys are idiots. Like, I don't necessarily disagree. Like it's not a martial art. I don't think in my
it's not
estimation. I don't even know what you would call it. It's just pure entertainment for me. But people hate that I like it. It's so weird. It's a very weird thing for me. And I was a fan of this way before the UFC got involved. I've been talking about this stuff forever. Like you can go back and see pictures of me on flyers to slap, like as a special guest to slap fighting leagues all over the Midwest. Like this is not new for me. Me and my friends have been watching this for a long time. It's even more exciting for me now that the UFC's involved and I don't have to hide it.
Michael Chandler previews coaching the Ultimate Fighter against Conor McGregor.
Bam. It's finally announced. The cat is out the bag. Team Chandler versus Team McGregor, coaching the Ultimate Fighter, heading to Vegas here very soon to film in the same vicinity, the same city as my future opponent later on this year, Conor McGregor. My team versus his team. The competition starts right now, ushering in these young men or women, imparting my wisdom upon them, and every single fight matters because I'm going to win this competition first of all. And we are going to make the dreams come true of one of these young athletes to get signed by the UFC and get a UFC contract. Can't wait. Catch it all on ESPN this summer. God bless. I'll see you at the top.
Sean O'Malley on the Bro Malley podcast discusses his recent run-in with Aljamain Sterling and Merab Dvalishvili.
So this was... Look at us, what a good people here at UFCPI.
What do you weigh?
Well, it's okay, brother.
You don't look like you.
67 and a half.
67. What about you, Rob? What do you weigh?
I just got off the plane.
155.
55?
Yeah,
I don't know how you guys stay so skinny. I eat one and I'm 170.
It's featherweight body. What's up, Nicky?
You're skinny, you're strong. They love you.
I looked nervous or this anxious energy. I didn't feel like that in the moment, but then I saw Aljo say, going on a podcast or something, said I felt like I was scared or something, which was, I mean, maybe he's just kind of saying that to, maybe, you know what I mean, just saying that. I don't know, I thought it was friendly. You could even call it friendly. I'd met him before. I thought, I was surprised he wasn't as big as, you know what I mean, he's saying he weighs 167. I think I said, what do you weigh? And he said 167. Merab said he's only 155.
Yeah, I heard that.
But he didn't look big. Like, I know he's like in the cage when he's shredded, he looks big,
Yeah,
but he
he's
didn't
got
look
a
like a
pom
big
pom.
guy. Merab definitely didn't look like a big guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, probably a strong mother too. UFC also said, they're like, yeah, Peter wanted that fight. He's like, he wanted it. He wanted it 5 rounds against Merab because he doesn't think Merab can hold him down. Oh, I did tell him. I said, I'm waiting for you to tear that bicep so I can go talk to UFC and book a fight with Henry. He giggled. It was whatever. You know what I mean? It felt, but I was just in line getting some food. And they had walked over because Merab was getting some food.
At UFC Vegas 68 last night, Derrick Lewis was defeated by Serghei Spivac via arm triangle choke in the first round. This is Derrick's 3rd loss in a row. Dana White at the post-fight press conference says although Derrick got manhandled, he's not going anywhere.
Your thoughts on Serghei and how good did he look out there?
Spivac?
Spivac, with what he was able to do against Derrick.
Yeah, listen, I have a lot of respect for Derrick Lewis. I love the guy, and he got manhandled tonight. That Spivac looked really good. He made a big statement tonight.
You know, I guess kind of on the flip side, like Derrick, this is another tough loss, but this is a guy that everybody loves seeing Derrick. I mean, I
love him too.
Does this hurt his stock? I mean, what do we do with Derrick at
Not
this
with
point?
me. I love the guy, so I love him, so he's not going anywhere.
Dana also discussed UFC 284 last night at the post-fight press conference. While talking about it, he forgets Islam's name.
When you have the number 1 versus number 2 pound for pound guys in the world fighting each other, like you said, in their prime, it's never happened. If you think of all the fights that we've done in the UFC. So, when you talk about legacy, if Volkanovski could pull this off, it's obviously massive. And if can pull it off, it's, he's on his way to building an incredible legacy.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post future ones. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Deez. It says, rooting for Volk. Such a solid dude. Don't know if he will get the W, but I'm supporting 100%. The second one says, Chandler going to compliment Conor the entire show. And the final one's from The Eagle Has Landed. It says, Chandler deserves that red panty night. He has given us some memorable moments in the octagon. Chandler versus Conor would be a banger. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured on the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. If you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen to get caught up. And make sure to go subscribe to our second channel where we post our exclusive MMA interviews.